Yo, what's going on? I'm Marcus, the debt free dad, also known as DFD. And today we're going to do kind of a reaction explanation thing about my New York squatter situation. And I actually maybe have jinxed myself. About 3 weeks ago, I did like two or three videos on New York squatter rights, squatter laws, how they were stupid, how blue states are just getting this wrong. I gave a shout out to Florida because Florida was the first state to actually get it right and enact laws that would reduce squatters' rights, essentially take those rights away and make it so law enforcement could actually remove them from the home, avoid actual homeowners having to go and spend thousands of dollars and a multitude of time and effort and getting them out due in landlord tenants court. So yo, shout out to Florida because Florida got it right. But I pointed out New York because they were the ones that just had it wrong. It was a homeowner who got arrested for trying to change the locks or changing the locks on some squatters. It was another homeowner who was actually deleted. She was actually deleted, found in the closet. The squatters took her car, drove it to another state, set it on fire. It was just getting kind of ridiculous. But the point of those videos was to show how a bad, stupid, old ass, archaic law can just spiral out of control and lead to other BS happening. Well, I did those videos. I was trashing New York, and what happened to me? Lo and behold, I may have potentially stumbled into a New York squatters' rights issue that I'm going to have to figure out. So, we definitely are going to talk about it. If you are new to the channel, I am, damn, your boy need to drink some water. I'm a licensed attorney. I'm licensed in several jurisdictions. None of those jurisdictions amount to me being your counsel. So this isn't legal or financial advice. Just giving my opinion, takes, reactions on topics and current events. And occasionally I let y'all know what we got cranking over here at the household of the Debt Free Dad. Now, hey, I always got to get that disclaimer out the way. If you need a professional, find one in your local area. Now, first, let's see what New York did to one fix this terrible situation that they had going on with squatters. So let's go ahead, take a look at this video, and then we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to break down what my situation is.
The governor of New York speaking out just a few minutes ago about the new anti-squatter law that she signed into effect. The push for change came after a series of 7 on Your Side investigations into the problem. Investigative reporter Dan Kraut was there, joins us in the newsroom with more. Dan?
Sandra, the governor signed off on the squatter law as part of the state's new budget package. I just got done speaking with her about it and how it became a reality. What are your reactions to the changes made in state law, and how do you think they will impact New Yorkers moving forward?
Well, we put them into state law because it makes sense. And I thank you for your reporting that put a spotlight on the fact that there are people illegally in other people's homes and creating havoc. And so we needed to make sure that our budget, the laws that we introduced just last week, would address this crisis.
After a series of 7 on Your Side investigations, a handful of lawmakers pushed for changes to state law, and the governor signed off on those changes this week. They voted to revise the way tenants are defined in the law to exclude people who don't have a homeowner's permission or legal right to be inside a property. They say it will make it easier for police to remove squatters instead of having to take them to housing court.
So squatters do not have the rights as tenants. That is firm.
New York trying to do something right.
And there'll be consequences to them. So that is the message that should go out there. You are not living in those houses legally. And again, I thank you for your coverage of this.
This new law goes into effect immediately, which means when police show up moving forward,
Shout out to them
someone
for
has to
getting
show
something
real
right.
proof they're not a squatter.
Following
Food receipts and
the
word of
beautiful
mouth
state of Florida
won't do.
Just a few minutes.
All right, so now we are going to talk about it. So now that we know what changed, long story short, New York has changed the way that a tenant is defined. It expressly excludes squatters. And the most important thing, and it's funny because I actually said this on the video, what I would change the law to. But typically, squatters establish rights after 30 days. That time frame was moved up to 180 days. 180 days is more than enough time to get somebody to hell up out your house. And now law enforcement can charge those person with trespass, uh, property crimes, and a multitude of things to arrest them and get them up out of the house. So shout out to New York for getting one right for a change. Now, DFD, how did you jinx yourself? Well, let me backtrack a little bit, right? Typically, if you're a responsible person and you have the means, you're responsible for making sure that the matriarchs and the patriarchs of your family are taken care of. Those your parents, maybe your grandparents, and all of those things. So let's kind of break this down. My grandmother is a New Yorker through and through. New York City. She has a condo in New York City. Well, she's getting older. Let's just put this in the context. My father is 74. So my grandmother is in her 90s. She's getting older. So she relocated from New York down south to live with a family member. Well, what happened in doing that? In doing that, she left her condo in New York. Now, there's some unique details that I'm not going to dive into, but the long story short is the condo that she has in New York, she's still making payments on. She's still the rightful owner of that property. She still has a property interest in that property. She relocated down south, and now she's down south. She's been down south for months now. And what appears to have happened is one of two things. Either her landlord is trying to hit a finesse, okay? The person who manages the condo is trying to hit a finesse. So option one is she continues making her payment, and this dude leased the condo out to somebody else, which, well, with these new laws, is actually should be easier. But prior to those new laws, that actually would have been a little bit less of a headache to deal with. So option one, hey, Mima is still making her payments on her condo. She relocated. The property manager subsequently leased that condo to someone else while he was still receiving payments from, my nana. That's option number one. Option number two is the property manager literally has no clue, but somebody just moved into the property. Let's put this into context. You have a 90-year-old woman who stays in New York City, who stays there by herself. She goes out of town. Next thing you know, she's out of town for some months. I don't know what the line of communication may or may not have been with the property manager. And let's just keep it a buck. My grandmother is 90. So, when you're 90, you kind of forget some things. That's just kind of what happens in life. So, as this was explained to me, my dad was like, man, she don't need to go down there. I'm going to go up there. She don't need to go up there to take care of that. I'm going to go up there and take care of it. And then my thought immediately was like, dude, she 90. She don't need to go up there. But you 74. You definitely don't need to go up there with New York and their whack ass laws and all the crazy stuff that's been happening and going on with squatters. So I was like, you know what? I'll go up there and get everything squared away, get to the bottom of it. So before I go up there, there's a couple of administrative things that needs to be done. One, essentially, I have to establish a power of attorney so I can make moves on my grandmother's behalf with regard to that particular property, just in case there's some issue that requires court. But I'm thinking this is actually perfect timing for New York to get their shit together and actually change this law and made it something that's a little bit more amenable. So I'm thinking it won't be a problem. Now, the first thing I'm gonna do is when I go to the property, I'm probably not gonna go by myself. I may get a family member or a friend to go with me. Or an alternative, another option is you can always reach out to law enforcement. Law enforcement will meet you at the property just so you can go in. Because this is New York. This ain't like if it was like where I'm at or South Carolina or North Carolina or something, I'm gonna just knock on the door because you got your strong Second Amendment rights. And if things get crazy, at least you protected. But in New York, they got some goofy ass laws and they terrible when it comes to Second Amendment rights. So the first step is I'm not going to go there alone. I'm either have a friend or family member or have law enforcement accompany or meet me at the property. Now, I'm hoping that no one is there, but the word on the street is that we called up to the property and someone answered the phone. Then they like immediately hung up. So now I'm like, man, do I gotta go up here and whoop somebody's ass? I'm not gonna whoop nobody's ass. If it was my property, I might go up there and whoop somebody's ass. But nah, I'm gonna go up there and handle it the right way. Shout out to people who handle things the right way and don't take the law into their own hands. But that's kind of my situation. I think I may have jinxed myself, but it is what it is. I'll give y'all an update to let y'all know how it go. But in the interim, it seems that things have worked out favorably for me in resolving this situation since New York has changed its laws. If there is a squatter in the place, I should be able to get them removed literally same day. Shouldn't be any issues. So, hey, fingers crossed that everything go well. I keep y'all updated. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, got something out of it, make sure you subscribe, like, hit the bell notification, and check out the video on the screen. There's going to be more content related to attorney reactions and finance. Peace.